Hey guys, welcome back to Aaron's Automotive. Today's video, we're back in the camper. And that's because I'm going to show you guys how to replace a converter in your RV. Oops, didn't mean to shake the table. Now, the converter that's in my RV, she's kind of on the fritz. Once in a while, she isn't charging the batteries. My lights are starting to dim. Obviously, I'm draining the battery. I don't want that. It's a 1985, 86. She's ancient. The converter in there, it's garbage. It's only a 45 amp converter with only a 2.5 or 3 amp charge rate on there. Absolute garbage if you plan on running any electrical, any of the 12-volt appliances. I mean, it's time to upgrade. You know, get back into the 21st century. So I picked up this. It's a POWERMAX power converter, 55 amp. The charge rate, converter input 11 amps maximum. Converter output 13.6 volts DC at 55 amps. That's a converter output rating including charging and load. So this thing will put out 55 amps of current, whether it's charging, only load, or both. So, I mean, it's pretty basic. We're just kind of going to get into the install very soon. First, we kind of got to set it up. Now, this comes with a plug-in on the end. My converter, if I'm not mistaken, is hardwired, so more than likely I'm just going to snip this guy off, wire Moret the 3 wires together, the hot, the neutral, and the ground. It's connected to the breaker circuit anyways, and run my 2 output wires. Now the converter I have is a little different. We'll get into that. First, we're going to get to setting up this guy. So I'll pan this camera down and kind of show you what we need to do to set it up. So first things first, you need yourself a DVOM, digital volts and ohm meter. You turn her on. Now mine does AC DC. I'm selecting DC voltage. And we need to connect our multimeter to our terminals here, because we need to set the converter. Now this isn't the first time I've installed one of these POWERMAXes, so I'm not going to go through the installation guide on the instructions or anything. It's going to go based off of what I've done about 5 different times already. So, get yourself a cord, just an extension cord here. I'm going to plug it in, and we should see some voltage. Little green light came on, and I'll try and pan you guys to where y'all can see. Alright, so I don't know if you can read that, but that is reading 13.06, 13.07 volts. Now, there is a screw on here. Voltage can go up to 16.5, down to 13. 3-stage charge or fixed output. I prefer 3-stage charge. Instead of doing fixed output, the 3-stage charge, basically what that does is if your battery is really low, it's just going to ramp that current straight into the battery, get that battery brought up to operating voltage as quickly as possible. If the battery voltage is pretty decent and you're just using some appliances, it's going to just give it a normal charge, maybe at 20 amps. And when it's fully charged, it goes into an automatic float mode, giving it only a couple of amps of charge and keeping it maintained, basically a trickle charge. So I just need to set the voltage to 14.6 volts. A little screwdriver, get that on there, and just ramp her up until we see 14.6 volts. 15, 14, 9, 8, 14, 7, 6, 8, 6, 7. Good enough. I mean, it's good to go anywhere between 4.8, no, yeah, anywhere between 4.8 to 4.4 volts. Anywhere there is good. I'm at 14.67, so we're good there. So now we can unplug our converter. Voltage drops on down. Disconnect our multimeter. and we can get on the installation at the converter box. So we'll get on over there. Alright, so we're at the converter box, and I hope you guys can see it. Well, I'm looking at the camera right now, and on the screen it looks like, yeah, you can see. So we come into here. Now this is the entire breaker panel and everything, and I need to remove this cover to get to my converter. So for that, mine, it's just going to be removed here, but we're going to get you down closer, take a quick look at this converter. Maybe turn on a light or something. So as you can see here, electrical rating. So input takes 6 amps at 120 volts, 60 hertz. Output 45 amps. Now that's only for powering the internal electrical on this RV. It's not putting out there. This has a 12 volt DC, 3 amp charge rate. Yeah, not a big fan of that. Garbage. So around, we'll get this old converter out of here. Yeah, you guys can see. So you're going to take the cover off here. Keep my screws kicking around so I don't lose them. Probably put, oops, put those there with that. And now I got 4 flats. Now before I take this out completely, I'm going to have to cut the power. Ah, stupid light. Oh, yeah, you guys can still somewhat see. I'll let that charge so I can use it. So this should only be 4 screws. There we go. Alright, so that's loose. Don't want to take it out all the way yet. I need to cut the power inside of the RV. So the converter's off. So, yeah, converter's off, main breaker's off. Got a couple of fuses I have to pop out of here, so I can get to these screws. Now this guy was a 15 amp fuse. This guy was a 6 amp fuse. 6 amp, 15 amp. I'm going to keep that in mind when I put them back in. So I need to remove a couple of screws in here. This is going to loosen up the control panel. Well, actually, yeah, I need to. Because I need to gain access to the wiring in the backside as well. So that's loose. I also need to disconnect the trailer's wiring here. Should be just one ground terminal here. And one positive lug in here. Pop out the ground. Pop out the positive. we've got access to the back side of our converter. Hopefully that got charged enough, because, well, see what happens if I turn. Well, I guess I can turn those on as long as as long as I don't have the converter running, I shouldn't have voltage. We're going to double check that though. So DC volts. That's my grounding terminal. This should be a hot off the converter. 0 volts. Then coming from the battery, I've got 12.58 volts. And that's disconnected, obviously. So I've got no power there. Disconnect this guy. Another thing I can do is I can go no contact voltage test. If this is live, it'd be screaming at me. So no power down there. So we're good there. Screwdriver, flathead. Stop! Not charged enough apparently. Alright, so now we need to disconnect power at the back of the module here. This is converter power. 12 volts. This is the output from the converter to feed the RV's electrical. Ooh, she tight! She tight! Where's that blue wire go to? Oh, yeah, that's where the weird thing comes in. So I get this all worked out with. So we got some electrical tape. Now I'll be careful. Alright. So we've got some wire cutters. I'm going to snip the red wire going to the back of the module here. In fact, honestly, a lot of this wire is going to get cut and pulled anyways. Pull our converter out, and holy, she's heavy. So, flip you around and take a look inside this guy. So as you can see, this thing is ancient. Old cooling fan in there. There's our powers, our negatives. Big arse transformer. Thermal safety, capacitors, resistors, whatever, overload shutoffs. It's covered in dust. I mean, this might have worked again properly if I would have cleaned it out or done something different to her. So here's the hole. We'll get to repairing that and the new converter in. Alright, well, kind of got where I need to get with the wiring here. I did put some red electrical tape on that one, so I mean, no zip zap out of that guy. Contain all those angry pixies. I mean, that's the neutral, or ground to the chassis battery. If that zaps me, something's seriously wrong. This is a power feed to my diesel heater I got in here. These three shouldn't have power to them. This guy, nah, that's got no power to it. So now what I realized is I actually need to extend some of these wires. So I just happen to have some wire nuts here. So what I'm going to do, and I don't suggest any of you guys actually do this, because I mean, I'm a moron. Just gonna give her a little bit of a snip and rip. Strip some of that wire back. Strip some of that wire back. And the ground wire, well, I'll just, or neutral, sorry, I'll just strip her back too. There we go. So now I've color coordinated my cable ends here. This guy's going to end up going into the converter. This guy's going to end up getting wire moretted to my hot lead, my red. This is just an output. Now, I mean, you guy could do the right thing and pull this all out and snap some of those wires back and put in some new proper wires there, but I won't. I'm lazy. And they're corroded and really don't want to break them. So, just gonna snip in a new piece of wire here and we'll call her good. So, this is going to be the 12 volt positive output. Now when using these wire morettes, the 12 volts, you don't. You never should. But if you do, I mean, give them a little bit of a tugging. Now if she stays put, she's there. She's good. You know, put a little bit of tape over her. It'll hold. I mean, yeah. Yeah, that's good. Good enough. This guy, well, I guess I kind of need to strip it back a little bit. So, just get yourself a trusty old little pocket knife. Run her along. Snip a little bit of that shielding off. Yeah, that's good. Oh. This is the neutral wire, ground wire in 12 volt terms. So we'll just twist another moret onto here. We'll call it good. Again, give her a little bit of a tug job. She's solid. And I mean, if you cover it with enough electrical tape, no one will know. I mean, it is just a $500 RV. Well, not really. Paid a few grand for it, but this will hold. And the blue wire, which we saw came off the back of that doohickey. I mean, I don't know why it was there. Actually, I do. That's the filter wire. What that guy does is bridges the gap, or bridges the outputs from here to the old converter, so that when it was charging the battery, it wasn't putting 45 amps of current to the battery, like it should have been doing in the first dang place. So, Give that guy a bit of a stripping. Put these in here like so. And I'll just nut them together. Yeah. Yeah, that'll hold. I'm confident. Good enough. Now for this bad boy, we need to connect these terminals to these terminals. I'll unscrew these guys. So this is your ground, your positive, and this, well, it's supposed to go to a chassis ground. And I mean, if a guy wanted to do this right, I mean, he could connect a wire to there, run her through somewhere until you find some metal frame part that's connected to everything else, but I probably won't. So we're going to take our two hot leads. Well, take a ground lug first. Yeah, let's take a ground lug. Let's do this right. Strip a little bit more of this. In case she arcs out, we'll do our ground first. Yeah. Looks like it's deep enough. I mean, I guess if a feller wanted to test this out and see if this thing's putting out just power to the trailer, I mean, I guess a feller could just connect this guy into here like so. Screw it down. And then, I mean, I'm not sending anything to the battery. And then, you could just plug it in and see if you get lights. It helps if you ground out your RV. There. So if we unplug this, our lights should turn out. They did. Now they're back on. Now they're not. Now they are. Now they're not. Sweet. We've got power. So I guess all that's left is to make sure we got enough red wire here. So we'll strip her back, get those two guys in there, and tighten it up, see what happens. Feels snug. Those don't feel like they're going nowhere. So then we just slide this on in here, like so. I'm going to leave that like that because I do need to test my voltage. So, multimeter again. Now that's putting a slight bit of load to the battery. What are we reading? I don't even know what the power voltage is. What is it? 12.6. So my battery on the trailer is at 12.6 volts. Connect this. Should see it jump up to 14. 14.54. Nope, 14.46. Turn it off, jump down to 12. So yeah, converter's working now. Disconnect power. So all I gotta do is somehow connect this guy to, well, to this guy, and then we're good. And I've got my ideas. So now, which one is my hot? I think this guy. So all I need to do, take that doohickey, that doohickey, run a little bit of electrical tape on them. There. So I've got the hot and the neutral connected to the converter now. So all I need to do is finish tucking this guy away into here, put it to bed. That guy can go in there. This guy just gets folded up here like so. Once I put the cover on, you won't see that. And then just hit the converter. Simple. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed this video, I ask that you give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you thought in the comments down below. And we'll catch you guys in the next video. See ya. Whoa, 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 whoa. Don't go anywhere. You didn't think I was going to leave it off like that, did ya? No, I didn't just leave the wires twisted and taped like that. So, I had actually spent the time, and I installed a receptacle here. I didn't just leave them twisted in like that. So, we've got wires running in. Let's plug this guy in. Don't know if you'll see back in there. That green light is on. If I grab the voltmeter and probe her on, we should be seeing somewhere around 14.5 volts, give or take a couple. Select DC voltage. There, 14.6.7. I unplug the converter. And try and connect this guy back up. Should be seeing just battery voltage now. 13.3534. And that's going to slowly drop as the batteries get used. So let's get you back in that tripod for a minute. So as you can see, I didn't just leave that off like that. I did properly wire up a receptacle. You know, 12 volt, yeah, I used some wire nuts. Should I have? Probably not, but it's my trailer, it's my camper. If it burns down with me and my family in it, that's on me. Is it gonna burn down? Probably not. I'm not too worried about that. Anyways, I did do a few things. I got all these fuses back in. My battery is now charging. Let's spin you around again. There. Let's straighten that out. So this is the wire off the battery. This is the main ground. This black wire, at the time I had tied up into here because I was running battery voltage, and I just had a an old school car charger on that battery out there to keep the battery topped up. But this is for my diesel heater, which is right in there. So it's still running off the battery, but it is fused with a 15 amp fuse here, and there's also a 15 amp or a 10 amp fuse, sorry, on the heater itself in line of this wire. Still have space to add an extra circuit if I want for 12 volts, and I might add a 12 volt accessory in here yet. I'm not sure, but I mean, I've got the option if I ever want to. Maybe like a 12 volt cooler or something. But yeah, so this is all good to go. This is all good to go. I'm now getting proper voltage at my at my battery. In fact, what I can do is I can show you. I have a 12 volt socket in the camper already. Let's try and set this tripod up somewhere where you can see it. 12 volt socket there. It's showing the temperature currently inside the camper of 18 degrees Celsius and the battery voltage of 14.5. If I turn the converter off, you will see that voltage starts to drop. Same kind of thing as we were getting on our multimeter. So now that y'all know that I didn't just leave it off like that, I got a few buttonings up to do. Got to put that cover back on properly and all that, but I decided not to just leave it like that, nor was I actually going to, because honestly that's just sheer stupidity. Anyways, now that this is properly installed, relatively speaking, screwed down in place, 12 volts connected, 120 volts connected, I mean, what more can you ask for? That's about it. That covers the install of the POWERMAX power converter in my RV. If you guys enjoyed this video, I ask that you drop it a thumbs up. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. If you want to see more videos, I ask that you hit that subscribe button. Maybe I'll try and put it up on the screen somewhere. I'm kind of editing off my phone currently. If I can't put it up on the screen, you know where it is. And also hit that bell icon. Get the notifications every time I do post. I don't post videos all that often. I am pretty busy in life with family, with work. So just kind of, when I got time to film something, I'll try and whip something together. So anyways, catch you guys later.